The abolition of the Primary School Achievement Test or UPSR and the Form 3 Assessment or PT3 in the National Education System is carried out to ensure that school-based assessments can be implemented effectively. Senior Education Minister Datuk Dr. Muhammad Razi Majidin said the implementation of PBS was not new as it already started in 2011.
No need to bring back actually. Let them relax a bit.
Of course they don't want exam. But for me it's better we have exam. It will give us what is the level for our son. Now without the exam, so we don't know.
It's difficult to actually follow the level of the children because if you look at this PBS and all, we are not 100% sure whether the grading is accurate or not.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very pleasant morning to all of you who's watching. My name is Adam Hakimi bin Muhammad Azhar as your moderator for today's Edu Talk. The topic that we offer today is the abolishment of UPSR and PT3 and its effect to the educational landscape of Malaysia. What an interesting topic.
My name is Muhammad Abi Haidar bin Muhammad Yorizan, and I am the first panel for today Edu Talk. And for my part, I will talk about how the abolishment of UPSR and PT3 can affect the student, especially in rural areas, for example in Sabah and Sarawak. And for me, this is very important topic to talk about because it is very crucial for our nation development.
I'm Nur Amna Marda binti Hazri as panel 2, and I'm here to talk about students' mental health and reintroducement of PT3 and UPSR. I believe that today's Edu Talk will not only enlightening but also empowering for positive changes.
Thank you, Abi, for joining me today.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Amna, for also joining me this session.
You're welcome.
So, the abolishment of PT3 and UPSR. PT3 and UPSR were major examination in Malaysia back in the day, but once COVID struck, it left an indelible mark in our Malaysian educational landscape because the abolishment of the both major examination were taken place, and now we face many challenges and problems, and not only that, we must look to the overview on the concept of abolishment and of UPSR and PT3. The first one, let's see, Malaysian educational system prioritize quality improvement. Do you guys agree with me?
I think that's why they abolish PT3 and UPSR because they don't want to be an exam-oriented country.
Yeah, because Malaysian education system are more into the exam-oriented culture. We have many major examinations such as SPM, PT3, UPSR, UPKK. So I think that's why during that time, because of the safety of the student, it is the COVID, right? So that's why we abolished the examination. How about you, Amna?
However, somehow, as PT3 and SPM is public exams, I think that it is important for students as it can give early exposure for them to face important exams.
It works as the exam that start the student initial, what do you call that? Initial understanding of a major examination. So, second point is that national education philosophy aim for holistic development. So as we know, the national education philosophy, the JERI concept, which is we must improve the student based on their spiritual, their physical well-being, their intellectual well-being, and lastly, their emotional well-being. So do you agree that PT3 and UPSR help with the JERI improvement in our student in Malaysia?
I agree that JERI really helps for the students, especially in emotional, as it can help them to reduce their stress and anxiety as they have got yearly exposure for that
Examination.
in PT3 to face SPM.
But we abolished the examination already, so how can it tied to the Jerry concept. What do you think of it?
Can you repeat the question?
Let's say if we didn't have the PT3 and UPSR examination, can we improve the Jerry aspect to our student? What do you think?
Actually, no, because without examination, I think all the students don't have a clear purpose when they are going to school.
Yeah.
For example, my mother as a teacher, she stated that nowadays kids, they don't know what to do when they go to school because they don't have any examination, they don't have anything to worry about. For example, back in our days, at least when we go to school, we have something to achieve, like we have something to study on. We have to get 5A or 6A in our UPSR examination, and we are excited to go to the high school because of our achievement.
Yeah.
And kids nowadays don't have that eagerness in themselves because of the abolishment.
Yeah. I do agree with you a bit. And next, I think by abolishing the major examination, it is a change to our education viewpoint in Malaysia, because Fulan stated in his book, Michael Fulan, which is one of the the philosopher of education, he stated in his book titled Nuance, that was published in 2018, that changes are necessary in education so that it can fit the current need of the world. I think even though we are trying to move to the new concept of assessment in Malaysia, not based on exam-oriented culture like you just stated, I do think that by having a different kind of assessment in Malaysia, especially in lower secondary form and primary school student, we can help to push the Jerry concept even more. Let's say in primary level, without UPSR examination, we can assess them through the PBS and PBD system, which is pentaksiran bilik darjah and pentaksiran berasaskan sekolah, school-based assessment and classroom assessment. So it is a very neat thing to think about, that we can shape a student not only based on examination but their well-being in class and in school. So what do you think about that, Anna?
I think that as from PBS and PPD, like you have stated just now, where teachers can examine the students from their personalities, where so the students will improve themselves in class by focus on the lecture and the lesson, and also improve themselves in completing their homework, and also focus in class to achieve their target and have a sense of achievement in themselves.
It is not as big as PT3 and UPSR examination, because PBD and PBS assessment system were criticized to be biased a bit, because if you have an examination that was set by a school and not the minister, it will be biased, I think. Do you think, like, because the school will assess student based on the school level only, so it will create a major difference between, let's say, SBP school, and then we have MRSM and just normal high school or normal primary school. It will create a problem because let's say the examination that was set by the school on the SBP and MRSM level were harder than the high school level, on the normal high school level. So I think the PBD and PBS assessment is quite biased, but Vitello and Williamson do state in an article that was written in 2017, quality control in assessment must address the creation aspect, administration aspect, and also the evaluation aspect, so that all of the students gonna be equal, not only the aspect of examination but the growth of their well-being in the classroom. What are your viewpoint on that?
Actually, I do agree with you, because as you can see, there's a lot of inequality when it comes to SPM papers. I thought from my personal experience, I come from just a regular school. It's very the inequality is very large because when it comes to the real SPM, students from SBP or MRSM, they feel like it's easier for them, but it is hard for us because it also because of different background and also because of different technique of learning and teaching. Because like you said earlier, maybe the question that were given to the student in the normal school are quite easier than the student in the SBP. So they are more exposed to the hard question. So when it comes to SPM, they are well prepared than the school, than the normal school.
So it is a very great challenge for us Malaysian, especially for the Ministry of Education, to adapt to this standpoint that normal school and SBP, MRSM paper examination were different. So that let's take a look at how and why we abolish UPSR and PT3 examination in the first place. So here I state a graph which you guys can see. So first of all, let's see, in 2020, COVID-19 led to the cancellation of UPSR and PT3 exams, affecting 4,500 UPSR student candidates and also 440,000 students for PT3 candidates. Do you agree that this is a very large amount of numbers?
Very large.
So at this point of time, it was made to ensure the safety towards the Malaysian and also the student, because the only examination that were taken face to face during that time is SPM. So PT3 and UPSR were abolished. Not abolished yet, it was cancelled. In 2021, PT3 was cancelled. UPSR was abolished completely. And the system of assessment, like I just stated, for UPSR at that time were PBD and PBS. But for PT3, the system of assessment were differentiated into 4 different aspects, which is PBD, PBS, the other one is psychometric, which is PPSI, the last one is sport and curriculum activity. I do think this is a great advantages that the Ministry of Education took, the action that were taken, because for primary level student, they just need to have this PBD and PBS so that they can advance to high school. But for PT3, you no longer have the no, I don't mean for PT3, I mean for Form 3 student, you don't have PT3 already. So how do you gonna decide that where you wanna further your study, where you gonna continue your study? Is it art, science, or even religious stream? So that's why we have the PPSI, which is psychometric, and also PAJSK for those who are interested in sport. What do you think of it? Should we neglect these 4 and return to PT3, or stick with these 4 and keep the examination?
For me, I think we should. I think we don't have to going back to PT3 because, but I do think that we need to improvise the system of psychometry and also the PBS and all that, because when I was in Form 3, when I'm going to Form 4, a lot of my friends that doesn't want to take science stream, but they were forced to because of the result from the psychometric and the PBS. So they feel like they are forced to study the things that they don't want. For example, one of my friends, he don't want to study science stream. He wants to study art, or we call in Malay sastra.
Yes.
Sastra. So it's much easier. And when you go to science stream, you have to study math,
Yeah.
science, and bio.
Killer
all of
subject.
that. Yes, the killer subject.
Mm.
And when I ask my friends, a lot of them are forced to go to the to study that
Science stream.
science stream.
Yeah.
So I think for me personally, we don't have to establish the PT3, but we have to improve the system of psychometric and the PBS during Form 3 era, during Form 3 phase.
Yeah. What about you?
Yes, as for me, I also agree with Abid as we don't have to establish the PT3, but improve our psychometric as like what Abid said. My friends also faced that, which he was forced to join a science stream and computer science class where they don't have the interest to learning that. So by improving the psychometric test, where maybe the counselor have to consult with the students what their interests and so they can tell their personal thoughts, what their interests are, and what they want to study in Form 4 and Form 5.
Thank you, Anna. Let's move on. The next one is changes in the world of education. All of us agree that it received a mixed reaction, right, from the teachers. Some teachers stated that it is good to abolish UPSR and PT3 examination, but some teachers also state that it is a very bad It's a very bad decision by the Ministry of Education. I think understanding the concept of PBD and PBS itself is important if we didn't want to bring back the UPSR and PT3 examination, because the current education system in Malaysia is like that, because we no longer have that examination, right? So I think in order to strengthen the assessment system in primary level and lower secondary level, we need to understand the PBD and PBS assessment system thoroughly, because let's say a teachers must understand how to assess their student based on a framework, not on their personal feelings. So it will not be biased because we have this framework. The major action that was taken by the Ministry of Education is to bring in the facilitator that will check on every school. That one facilitator that will check on teachers, check on how they're teaching their students. So that I think it is a major step taken by the Ministry of Education in improving the PBD and PBS assessment system. But there is problem for like in rural area, let's say, how do the facilitator gonna get there? Because we don't have that many school, but the area on the rural area itself is hard to assess, right? So let's highlight the outline and challenges. When it comes to this topic, what do you think the challenges are?
In my opinion, the challenges that teachers face from this PBD and PBS is they will get stress or anxiety because of the facilitators that comes to observe their how they give marks or examine the students, because there's no specific framework to assess the students. And also students also they want have the interest to learn, because the abolition of UPSR, which will affect how they study and how they will focus on class, as they don't have to take the exam.
Alright, so that's the first topic that has been discussed about, which is the concept of PT3 and UPSR examination abolishment.
So thank you, Adam, for the very enriched and informative sharing earlier. And now I would like to touch how the abolishment of UPSR and PT3 can affect the students in rural areas, especially in Sabah and Sarawak.
Yes.
So as we all know, Malaysia is a cosmopolitan and very diverse country. This country is diverse in terms of race and also ethnicity, and we are coming from different backgrounds, each of us. And we cannot forget that we also have rural areas such as in Sabah Sarawak. We also even have rural area in Peninsula of Malaysia, for example in Kelantan,
Yes.
in Posbidu. So first of all, I would like to ask you, Adam,
Yes.
in your opinion, what's your take on the situation of education in rural area in Malaysia?
Thank you a bit for that question. From what I heard, or in my personal viewpoint, is that the rural area in Malaysia, especially in Sabah and Sarawak, the main problem that we are facing is that we lack teachers that have the skill in teaching, not in teaching, basically in surviving in rural area, because most of the teachers have this mindset that they didn't want to teach them, because it is a very hard thing and a very new thing for them. So I think that is one of the problems that we face.
How about you, Amna?
Not only that, I think that in the remote areas, especially in education, they have limited access to mental health service, where it's include in counseling and therapy, where it can exacerbate mental health issues among students, as they may not receive the support or the help that they need if they face anxiety or mental health issues, depression in their study.
Yes. Thank you, both of you. So now I would like to share my personal opinion about how the abolishment of PT3 and UPSR. And for me, there is a positive side of it. Because as we know, during 2020, during the COVID-19 era, all the learnings are online or digitalized.
Yes.
And based on the graph that shows from International Telecommunication Union, there's a lot of gap between urban and rural areas in terms of percentage of individuals using the internet. And I do think that it is very affected the education in rural areas, because as we know, a lot of people there don't have the money or the access to the internet, and how can they have a proper learning during those era?
Yes.
So I think there's one of the positive side. So they don't have to take they don't have to fear of failure of the examination.
Yeah.
Because most of them feel like going to school are just part of their daily activity.
Yeah.
Not an essential, like most of us in urban areas. So, in your opinion, Adam,
Yes.
what do you think Malaysia can do in order to improve internet access to rural areas?
Thank you a bit. Like you just stated, most of the student there doesn't want to learn because it's not like it is essential for them, because the examination were abolished and all of the teaching are digitalized. So in order to improve this, I think the government, the federal government, need to take a major action. For instance, they need to assess the condition in rural areas, especially in Sabah Sarawak. Not only in Sabah Sarawak, but also in the Semenanjung part. For instance, in Kedah we have in Seh, Bidong, and so on. Even in Kelantan.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think the federal government need to assess the situation that is going on in the rural areas.
How about you? How can you have a repeat education? How do you think government can do in order to support schools in rural areas in order to have more access to the internet?
In my opinion, the government should add more and provide more internet substation, especially in rural areas, for students and teachers to make them easier to learn, and also maybe the government should improve the way, which is the road, or for these teachers and students to go to school. As I've seen videos of teachers, they have to
Swim.
they
have to.
they have to like walk in the river
In the mud.
yes, to
Ride a
go to school.
boat.
Yes, with boots, and they go to school with wet
Clothes.
Yeah, with wet clothes, which will somehow affect their comfortability to teach.
Mental health state.
Yeah.
So I'm interested with one more point, because if we look in a broad way, teachers in rural areas face a lot of challenges, especially during COVID era. Because first, even when you want to go to school, it's hard.
Yes.
But also, if you want to teach online class, also hard for them. So it's a two challenge for them. They have to overcome.
Yeah.
And I think that is the positive side of the Abolishment. That, like I said earlier, the student and the teachers don't have to worry about the failure of the examination. But if you look, the negative side is students tend to not have the eagerness in themselves, because as we know, a lot of them coming from family of poverty, and one way to change their life is education. But when they don't get the access to proper education, how can they achieve in academic in order to change their life? For example, when they have achievement in the examination, they will get scholarship, so they will get sent to big city, so that they will have more access to the education. And this abolishment bridge the chance of the student to achieve that. And I don't think that PT3 and Upsr have to be re-established, but government shouldn't overlook the student in rural areas, because we have to have the equality in our education system. And when they get access to the big city, they will have more access to extracurricular. And I would like to ask you, Adam,
Yes.
do you think extracurricular play a vital role in education system?
I think extracurricular do play a vital role, because there are students that are not into the hand-on learning. Maybe they more into the let's say sport and any activity that are related outside the classroom. So by having this activity, not only we can improve the students' well-being in terms of personal growth, but also create a student that is aligned with the GRE framework.
Amna, how you think we can improve extracurricular in Malaysia?
In my opinion, in order to improve extracurricular, instead of doing the normal extracurricular program, usually on Wednesday, maybe schools should have other extracurricular activities such as annual sports day, cooperation days, where the students can be exposed to selling skills, help them to know more about ringgit and how the selling process, and also maybe extracurricular and maybe curriculum days where they can do
Sports.
lifting, swimming,
To train athlete from school also.
to produce good athletes and observe their skills and talent.
Thank you, Anna. But I also think that financial also play a vital role in education in rural areas. Because based on the studies from University of Michigan and also University of Notre Dame, financial issues, parental work schedules, and also inadequate facilities contribute to this disparity in rural areas. And lack of extracurricular opportunities is also one of the reasons educational in rural areas are left behind.
Yes.
Extracurricular activities crucial for holistic student development and are more prevalent among socio-economically advantaged students, and it can perpetuating social inequalities. FARC and Majesco 2012. So the possible solutions that we can do in order to bridge this disparity due to abolishment of UPSR is teacher training and support. Teacher's role is very crucial for rural school development. Their performance in teaching the students will determine the school overall preparation and prestation in order to overcome this challenge. And the second one and the most important one, I think, is government support.
Yes.
Without government support, we can do anything. We cannot do anything. Government plays the most crucial role in strengthening the education system. For example, the government should advocate any policy that prioritizing rural educational financing and also infrastructure development.
Yes.
And on the other hand, government should also do a collaboration with NGOs such as Starlink. Starlink is a Wi-Fi company. For example, in 2017, they do a collaboration to add more Wi-Fi substation in the rural areas, and I think that's a good effort from the government.
Yes.
So in summary, I do think that abolishment of PT3 and UPSR comes with good and bad. Yes,
Bad and good effects.
good and bad effects in our education system. And we as a Malaysian, and also we as an IPG student, the future teacher, have to well prepared for this challenge in order to overcome this.
I truly agree with both of you. However, I would like to focus on and often overlooked, which is students' mental health, especially during the COVID-19. There are some mental health issues that students and teachers usually face, which is anxiety, depression, and also stress, where it might come from the social isolation that during that time, where they have to quarantine to avoid the pandemic to spread, especially in their family members. And what worse is when the individual have to. What worse is, especially if the individual have to go to the isolation center, where they have to be separate completely with their family to get further treatment from the medical institution. And the education aspect, some of the academic challenges that they may face is the shift to remote learning and changes in the academic environment can create challenges for students, as they have to join online learning with the teachers, where from my personal experience back then, I used to procrastinate, especially if my teachers gave us homework, as I feel that no one will check our homeworks, like no one will check our homeworks, so we will procrastinate, and which it affects my study, as it was hard for me to catch up the lessons, especially mathematics.
Yes.
Would you mind to share your experience during COVID-19?
Oh, of course. I can say that the COVID-19 era is like my dark age, because before I take art class, I was in account class. I did math, account, and science, and during that time, especially during math class, I really hate math. So during the online class that my teacher did, I'm procrastinate, like instead I was do other things other than instead of studying. So it is very stressful for me, because I was forced to study the things that I don't like, and in addition it's online class, so it's like double bad effect for me. And after the quarantine, when I go to school, everyone has better understanding at math except me. So I feel like I was left behind. I was left out in the class. So it's like put pressure on me.
Thank you, Abi. How about you, Adam?
For me, I think I don't have that bad experience at all, not that much. But I do think some of the people and students during that time face many emotional issues, which will affect them very badly in terms of learning and their growth.
So you don't find it hard during that time?
It is quite. It's not. It's hard, but it's adaptable for me.
Okay. As for what Abid has told just now, if a lot of the students face the same things, then it might they don't seek for help. They might be experience mental health issues, as they will feel the pressure to achieve their target and score in the exam.
Yes.
Other than that, some challenges that students and teachers may face is disruption of routine, where they have to adapt to new normal, where for example, for a boarding school students, where they have to stay at home. I could say that before this, they were studying with their friends, where they would focus on their study during the preparation class in the classroom. But when they were studying at home, with the surroundings of maybe from the surrounding, such as the disturbing of from their sisters and brothers, which may affect their for them to focus in the online class because of the noise that was made.
There are also family that have to share the device because of their financial background also.
Yes. Where it somehow will affect their mental health, because like it will be limited for them to study, to access the Google Classroom, to complete their homework, where with the limited resources
will be a problem for them.
Will be a problem for them in their education, which will somehow affect their
educational growth.
And educational growth.
Yes.
I do agree with that, because not all students coming from happy household. Some of the parents don't have any incomes during that time, so it can put pressure on the children too.
Yes.
So when they don't have financial stability during the era, how can they have the good access to Wi-Fi or even the devices? So it really affect some students' mental health during that time because of the financial issue.
Yes. Other than that, students in rural students, they face like it's just stated before, the lack of internet to access the education, where some of them have to climb the tree to join the online class.
Yes.
But then, to sum up, it is important for parents, teachers, and policymakers to be aware of these potential effects and to provide support and resources to help students and educators to cope with the challenges and the pandemic. This can include promoting mental health awareness by providing access like counseling, psychiatrists to seek help, and also therapy for them to seek help for further treatment to get their medication, suitable medication, and also by creating supportive community that always support each other and that create inclusive environments for students to thrive.
I agree with you, Abna.
There's a book by Andrea Rupert that entitled Mental Health and Academic Learning in Schools that emphasizes the importance of addressing students' mental health concerns in schools, as evidenced by the UK government.
It is very informative.
Thank you, Amna. That is very informative of you.
For example, the report stating that 10% of young people aged 5 to 16 have clinically significant mental health problems, with only 25% receiving appropriate support. As from this, we can say that there are very small amount of them that go seek for help from the professional medication staffs.
Yeah.
Which is very worrying, and we want to encourage more people to seek help, especially students and teachers, for better education.
Yes. So thank you, Amna. So that's two of the effect on the topic of abolishment of PT3 and UPSR. So now we will open up for the question session for our Edu Talk.
Assalamualaikum, especially to the moderator, Mr. Adam Hakimi, panel 1, Mr. Abid Haida, panel 2, Ms. Amna Mardia. I have a question regarding the abolishment of UPSR and PT3 in our country, based on a book that you stated before by Michael Fulan. Do you think UPSR and PT3 examination should be brought back into our educational system? As we all know that there are issues regarding our educational system that depend on the exam oriented. I think you have any explanation about this question.
Thank you, Firdaus, for the question. So based on our discussion just now, like I stated, the PT3 and UPSR examination must be analyzed more if we want to bring it back, because we already have the PBD and PBS assessment system for primary school level, which is standard SIP, and we already have the PBD, PBS, psychometric, and PAJSK assessment system for PT3 for Form 3 student. So I think we need to strengthen the assessment system more than bringing back the major examination, because it has been abolished for 3 years, right? 3 years. Yeah. So that is my answer for you, Firdaus.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to panel of moderators. I have a question for Ms. Nur Amna regarding your talk, which is how do you ensure that students, especially those in rural areas, have access to adequate mental health resources and support, considering the challenges of limited healthcare facilities and professionals in these areas? That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nashwa, for the question. In order to help and ensure that students in rural areas have access to the mental health resources and support that they need, despite the challenges of limited healthcare facilities and professionals, is by offering training and education for teachers, parents, and community members on mental health. By spreading awareness and creating supportive community that acknowledge mental health, the problem, and to reduce the stigma and stereotype of mental health issues, where by creating this, it can help create a more supportive environment for students in rural areas.
Yes.
Thank you for the amazing and eye-opening input from the panel and moderators, and also it's a very new and interesting information for me. I would like to ask the panels and moderators a question, which is how can the digital divide affect the education in rural area? That's my question.
Thank you, Amira, for the question. And in my opinion, digital divide is very vital for education, especially in this era. So, how can it affect the education in rural areas is as you can see, the usage gap between rural and urban areas of internet usage is very huge. And as we know, everything in this era are accessed through the internet. And how can people in rural areas access online learning or learning materials in the internet if they don't have the access to internet? So it is really challenging, not for the students, but also for the teachers, because we can see many schools in urban areas use a lot of internet in order to do the learning in the classroom. It is so much easier and also more convenient for the student and also the teacher. For rural areas, they don't have that. They don't have the access, so they are more into conventional way, and it is quite hard to maintain that, especially in this modernization era. I think that's all. Thank you.
And with that, we end our question sessions. So with this meaningful input, we do understand the effects and the multiple dynamic of the abolishment of UPSR and PT3. Thank you for being here, and let's make today's discussion impactful and memorable. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and my pleasure to join you all.
Thank you. And to the audience, thank you for your active participation.